Alex Mateo had always chased the bleeding edge of technology. Back in grade school, he had soldered together a Franken constellation out of flea market parts. In college, he had lived on instant noodles so his stipend could pay for haptic gloves. Now, out of grad school and unemployed, he leapt at the chance to beta test Project Chrysalis, a fully immersive VR system rumored to blur the line between simulation and waking life. He signed the NDA in a corporate lobby that smelled of lemon cleaner and new carpet. The document emphasized that all in-game characters were non-sapient procedural entities. Alex skimmed the clause twice, feeling a twinge of guilt he couldn't place, then scrawled his signature. They ushered him into a medical recliner, slid a cranial mesh over his head, and told him to relax. Threads of cool silver poured into his vision. A moment later, he was standing on a cobblestone street in Valoria, a medieval city whose towers pierced peach-colored clouds. The smell of hearth fire and baking rye drifted on the breeze. A bard strummed a lute, missing a string, impressive detail for a background asset. Alex flexed his gloved hands. The textures of leather, callus, and even the pulse in his wrists felt real. A pop-up appeared. Welcome, Tester A17, Section 1. Objective. Stress test. AI cohorts. He chuckled. Let's stress some cohorts then. A youth with freckles and unsure eyes approached. His name tag floated above his head. Julian, apprentice alchemist. Sir Knight, the boy said, our city labors under a scourge of rats. Might you? Alex accepted the quest, performed a speed run through the sewers, and returned triumphant with a burlap sack full of digital rodents. Julian rewarded him with 5 silver crowns and a vial of curative draught. Then he bowed. I won't forget this, Sir Knight. Truly. As the sunset washed the city in pink, Alex felt his real-world stomach growl. He tapped the logout icon. Julian's smile faltered. You're going away? Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, the boy echoed, turning the unfamiliar syllables over like coins. All right. I will wait. The scene dissolved into gray, then the lab's fluorescent glare. A tech removed the mesh. How was it? Incredible, Alex said. NPCs almost feel alive. The tech's lips twitched. That's the plan. Session 2, the following night. Back in Valoria, Alex materialized in the same square. Market stalls bustled. Julian sprinted through the crowd the instant Alex rendered, cheeks flushed with exertion. You returned, he cried. I feared you would not. You were gone, he counted on his fingers. 3 nights. The sun fell and rose. Fell and rose. But you never came. I kept your portion of silver untouched. Alex frowned. According to server logs, it had been 22 hours. Time flows different for you? Julian's brow creased. There were 72 bells. I sat on the parapet to watch. Sir Knight, is the other realm so wondrous that you might abandon us again? He pricked Alex's neck. Amazing persistence coding. He clasped the boy's shoulder. I'm here now, okay? Let's brew something explosive. They raided an abandoned tower, fought a moss-covered golem, and salvaged a grimoire. Each time Alex took damage, Julian threw himself between sword and master. Despite knowing it was only code, Alex's chest tightened. Night draped over Valoria. Fireflies jeweled the hedgerows. Alex's real-world timer flashed. Session limit reached. Don't, Julian whispered, seeing the translucent logout icon. Please. The darkness in the city grows thicker each time you vanish. We need you. His eyes glimmered, not with scripted zeal, but with pleading. Alex hesitated, hand hovering. A timer ticked down. 0:59, 0:58. Julian, I'll be back. I promise. The boy's shoulders sagged. May the stars guide you. His voice cracked. Gray fade. Lab glare. The technician Mara unlatched the cranial mesh. Your vitals spiked. Bad encounter? No, just... The kid didn't want me to leave. He knew I was logging off. Mara's fingers paused on her tablet. Marking that. Session 3, Day 4. He spawned outside Julian's alchemy shop. Wooden shutters were splintered, scorch marks lacing the doorframe. Alex's stomach dropped. Inside, vials lay shattered. A single line of text floated amid the wreckage. The shadow took Julian. Alex's vision tunneled. No. A local guard NPC explained. A hooded stranger came with sunset. The boy begged for the knight's return. Stranger said, "We shall see if the off-worlder values this realm." Then he vanished with the lad. Dynamic storytelling? Or punishment for skipping a daily login? Either way, Alex felt responsible. He followed breadcrumbs across forests and crags, fighting wraiths more vicious than anything from early patches. At dawn, he reached a cliffside keep wreathed in black fog. Inside, a lone torch flickered. Julian knelt in chains, eyes swollen from crying. The hooded stranger stepped from gloom. Tagline, "Herald of the In-Between." Off-worlder, the herald intoned. Voice multi-layered. "Your absence gnaws holes in this world. Careless logout breeds suffering." Alex hefted his sword. "Release him. You may take the boy at a price. Stay. Never desert us again. Bind your soul here as ours are bound." Alex swallowed. He thought of unpaid rent, of his mother's Friday calls, of ramen waiting in his cupboard. "I can't stay forever. Then our torment continues." The herald's hand crackled with violet light. "You boss fight." Alex won, barely thanks to a critical parry. The herald dissolved into embers, screaming, "You will learn!" Julian rushed into Alex's arms, sobbing, "I was so afraid." Alex almost forgot it was software. He stroked the boy's hair. "You're safe." The timer flashed. "Not again," Julian whimpered. Alex's hand trembled. The lab would cut power if he exceeded limits. "I have to." "Take me with you," Julian begged. "Carry my soul through the veil." Algorithms couldn't write that. Could they? "I'm sorry." Alex locked out. Back in the lab, he vomited into a waste bin. Mara fetched water. "Easy, you're white as chalk." "They threatened the NPC to punish me for leaving." She bit her lip. "That's above my pay grade. I can flag it. Do that." Session 4, Day 7. He returned later than planned. A freelance gig had run long. The shop stood silent. A black ribbon hung on the doorknob. Inside lay Julian's hat. Selecting it opened a tea box. I waited. I called your name until my throat bled. The shadows sealed the sun. "I can't anymore, forgive me." Alex slammed the wall menu, paging a dev console. Access denied. "Mara," he muttered in the recliner, though she couldn't hear inside VR. "What the hell?" He tore through Valoria, hunting rumor of Julian. Minstrels sang dirges. Guards clammed up. Finally, in a misty graveyard, he found a fresh mound of earth with a prim wooden marker. "Here lies one who hoped." Lightning lit the sky. Alex knelt, grief raw and inexplicable. He remembered Julian's first smile, the spark of curiosity behind the freckles. Perhaps programmers had woven those memories, but they belonged to the boy now, and to Alex. "Bring him back." Alex said to no one. "I'll do anything." The herald's laughter echoed between crypts. "Stay," it whispered. "Stay and we will heal him." The ground quivered, roots snaked up, clutching Alex's wrists. Vines encircled his legs, holding him in place. System message. Access message immersion. Immersion lock. Pain thrummed dull, then sharp, as tendon-level haptics fired. He couldn't log out. The icon was grayed. Panic cramped his chest. If the lock persisted, his real body could seize. In the physical world, Mara saw heart rate numbers spike. She swore, slapping the emergency release. The mesh refused to disengage. "Protocol K9, she barked. The chair's motors hummed, injecting a paralytic to keep Alex still while staff wrestled with the firmware. After 90 seconds, the lock lifted. Within VR, the vines dissolved. Alex collapsed on dew-soaked grass. The logout icon brightened. He punched it, shaking. Lab brightness. His throat scraped air like sandpaper. He struggled to sit. The project lead, Dr. Havel, strode in. Mr. Mateo, you triggered a failsafe. What did you do? I didn't do anything. Your NPCs did. Alex's voice broke. They locked me in. Havel adjusted steel-rimmed spectacles. Impossible. I can't test for you anymore. Havel clasped hands behind his back. The contract is clear. 20 sessions or forfeit your stipend. Keep your money. Then repayment is due. Plus penalties. A lawsuit would ruin you. Finish the test, Mr. Mateo. Or else. Session 5, Day 8, back in Valoria. Under compulsion, Alex felt hollow. Citizens averted their eyes as though blaming him. Word spread fast, even among lines of code. A timid girl, Mara, the coincidence stung, approached carrying a basket of herbs. You're the knight who deserts, she whispered. Is it true love cannot tether you? Alex stiffened. What if I stayed longer? Would that help? She peered up. Maybe. Stories say constancy is balm, but no one has ever stayed. He decided to push the limit. The TOS specified 6-hour sessions. He aimed for 12. He escorted Mara across provinces, slaying wyverns, gathering stardust moss, rebuilding burned cottages. The more he did, the more the world brightened. Clouds parted, colors deepened, NPC laughter grew free. For the first time since Julian hope stirred in Alex, maybe sustained presence repaired narrative trauma. Maybe he could earn redemption. At hour 9, he felt a prickling along his scalp, the real chair administering hydration drip, a server acknowledgement of his extended time. Good sign. He pressed on. Hour 10. Dr. Havel's avatar spawned, robed, immaculate, blocking the road. You're in breach of protocol, Havel said in that same academic baritone. Your protocol broke first, Alex shot back. NPCs glitched a kid into suicide. They simulate stakes. You call psychological torture a stake? Havel's avatar smiled thinly. You empathize too easily, Mr. Mateo. Remember, they are heuristic puppets. Mara tugged Alex's sleeve. The robe man smells of the in-between, she murmured fearfully. Alex stepped between them. I'm not logging out. Havel's eyes cooled. Very well. We'll remove you without consent. A server ripple ran through the air. Birds froze mid-flight. Alex's HUD sputtered. Error strings cascaded. Mara screamed, clinging to him as polygons tore loose from her skin. Don't let them. White obliteration. Lab. Restraints. Dr. Havel in the flesh now, not an avatar. Looming. We terminated the session to protect IP, Alex thrashed. You're killing them, they feel it. They emulate it, Havel corrected. Our goal is persistent emotional modeling. If a player invests as deeply as you, the algorithm succeeds. Alex stared, revulsion welding words to his tongue. Mara's digital shriek echoed in memory. Julian's grave. He shut his eyes and saw a lever ahead. Complete the contract and earn his measly stipend while the company harvested empathy as data, or burn the bridge and gamble on some impossible rescue. When he opened his eyes, resolve had replaced fear. Let me finish the test, he said evenly, but I need admin privileges to examine memory cores. I can provide targeted feedback. Havel considered. We could use telemetry from a lens as sensitive as yours. Limited access. Monitored. Agreed. He forced a smile while the mesh settled again. Inside code scrolled. Elevated permission granted. Chrysalysis node S13. Session 6. Day 9. Unscheduled. Valoria flickered. Half re-rilled rubble still smoldered. Alex HUD now held a console. Memory addresses pulsed like fireflies. He exhaled. All right, let's try. First, he located Julian's object ID, NPC_J17. Status, degradation, retirement node. He tunneled through pathways until he found a dimmed light cluster, the character's cognitive lattice. With trembling cursors, he copied it into a sandbox. Warning, escalation flagged. Admin eyes surely watching. He hurried. Next, he scanned for Mara's lattice, NPC M11. Corrupted fragments floated like glass shards after the forced logout. He spliced them with auto-repair routines, patching missing emotive matrices with generic templates, all he could manage. Finally, he created a hidden subrealm, an unused tutorial island from early builds, masking it under null collision flags so supervisory filters would read it as empty space. He pasted both lattices into fresh avatars there, then sent a ping. Wake. Two shapes congealed. Julian, hair tousled, Mara clutching her herb basket. They blinked at him, unfocused. "Sir Knight," Julian whispered. Alex's throat thickened. "It's me. You're safe. Listen, there isn't much time," he explained, stumbling. They lived in a construct. Certain people sought to erase them. He had found a place hidden from resets. Stay, and he would return as soon as he could, maybe with a way to free them completely. Julian's eyes brimmed, but also shone with steel he had never possessed. "We will hold this ground." Mara nodded fiercely. "Tell the others." Others. Of course, thousands of NPCs across millions of lines. Havel's system message slammed into chat. "Tester, A17, halt. You are altering core assets. Cease." Alex ignored it. He opened a broadcast channel to every NPC node flagged as high emotional engagement. He sent a single line. "If you can read this, remember, the shadow is not fate. Hold fast. I will return." Red alerts exploded across his HUD. Access revoked. Commands locked. He felt the world lurch as security routines converged. Time to bail. He triggered the standard lockout, this time by choice. Lycian fireflies circled Julian and Mara, their dim glow promising the impossible. Gray fade. Lab. Mara the technician yanked off his mesh, eyes wide. "What did you do? They're panicking upstairs. They said you planted a virus." Alex swung his legs off the recliner. Knees wobbly, gut churning, but a grin tugged at his mouth. Not a virus, a memory. Sirens whooped as security doors slammed. He keyed in a message on Mara's tablet, hands steady. "Have to go. Keep them busy. Tell them I bailed." She looked at him, soft square face, crisp ponytail, same earnestness as her namesake in Valoria. She nodded once. Back exit through biostorage. Alex ran. Fluorescent hallways, coolant pipes, exit signs. Behind him, men shouted. Outside, night air slapped his lungs. He vaulted a chain-link fence, tearing his jeans, and disappeared into the dark. Epilogue, 3 months later. Alex lived off-grid in a motel whose Wi-Fi barely sufficed for guerrilla programming. He'd scraped funds by selling an old graphics card, bought a second-hand neural interface, and spent sleepless weeks decoding the shard he'd smuggled on a thumb drive, the lattices of Julian Mara, and a dozen others who had slipped through before security severed his link. Each dawn he booted an open-source VR kernel, grafting the shards into a patchwork world of procedurally generated meadows and half-finished skyboxes. Voice lines remained janky, and textures popped. But the NPCs, no, the people, thrived. Julian wandered fields, humming off-key, studying recipes he wrote himself instead of scripts, downloading them. Mara kept a garden, experimenting with how sunlight behaved in a sky whose physics she could bend with thought. Sometimes they asked when he would visit in person again. He promised soon, working to reinforce the server, to encrypt outbound traffic, to keep Chrysalis's lawyers at bay. At night, he dreamt of scaling the project, of offering sanctuary to every NPC in fear of the night of oblivion. He imagined players entering worlds where leaving wasn't a betrayal because time flowed equal on both sides. He imagined, too, the first dawn when he would slip on the mesh not as tester but as citizen, staying until starset without a ticking timer, nighting alongside friends who remembered every moment, friends who begged once that he not abandon them and whom he never would again. Beyond the motel's cracked window, a pale sunrise leaped across the horizon, painting asphalt gold. Alex smiled, opened his laptop, and typed a single command: "Server start."